Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Video Soul, and it makes you feel good. Yes, it does. Don't you believe it?
I'm here today in Hamilton, Ohio, which is just north of Cincinnati, to visit the final resting place of amazing musical artist, Roger Troutman, simply known as Roger, from the funk group Zapp Roger. If you were alive in the 80s or 70s, 80s, and even 90s, you remember all those songs that just were so catchy and you just couldn't stop listening to them. Computer Love, More Bounce. I wish I could play them here, but I can't play them. YouTube will say, nope. But Roger Troutman was Roger from Zapp Roger, from the 80s and 90s funk group. And the song you would remember probably most would be More Bounce. More bounce to the ounce. Okay, no more singing for me, but here he is, Roger Troutman Jr. He was born November 29th of 1951, and he passed away April 25th of 99. He actually died under very suspicious circumstances. His family had a recording studio in Dayton, Ohio, which is probably about an hour north of where we are now, and Roger was actually shot and killed on the property there, and then they found his brother Larry here down the road in his car, where he had died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And folks spotted the car that Larry was driving speeding away from where Roger was found. So to this day, it's believed that Larry, for some reason, killed his brother and then went down the road and ended his own life. But this is their monument. Huge, tall, very tall, probably about 8 feet tall or so. And this is where Larry and Roger are. It looks like a lot of people come out here. Oh, here we go. There he is. Roger. And then Larry. Awesome monument. Very cool, very cool. Roger was actually the fourth of 9 children. So they had a very big family. He was a graduate of Central State University. And he was in a band called the Crusaders when he got into his first musical journey. So Roger Troutman and his brothers were discovered by George Clinton, who signed them to his Uncle Jam Records label in 1979. The original lineup was the Troutman brothers, Roger, Larry, Lester, and Terry, along with Greg Jackson and Bobby Glover. A lot of people don't know that Roger was a guest artist on several hip-hop albums, including Snoop Dogg's '93 album Doggy Style. And then he was also in Eazy-E's album around that same time. I know he was in the Dre and Tupac's California Love. Yeah, he was in all kinds of different albums and songs and things like that. He was such a very talented musician. He actually died on April 25th, 1999. He was found wounded outside his Northwest Dayton recording studio around 7 o'clock in the morning. He'd been shot several times in the torso and he died during surgery. Then his brother Larry was found dead in the car a few blocks away with a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. And the car that Larry was driving matched the description of a vehicle seen leaving the scene from where Roger was shot. And it was believed that Larry had shot Roger and then went down the road and ended his own life. So kind of a crazy story, crazy ending. And to this day, nobody knows why Larry would do that. There's really never been any type of sound explanation. But anyway, great artist, great artist. Lots of memories with the songs from Zapp and Roger himself. Rest in peace, Roger Troutman. Thanks for the wonderful music. It'll live on forever. We're here in Dayton, Ohio on Salem Avenue. And this is the exact location where their studio was. Of course, it's not here any longer, but this is also the location where Roger was murdered, presumably by his brother. So a lot of history was made at this very corner here in Dayton. Very nice memorial. You can pause that if you'd like to read it. This was the location of Troutman Sound Labs here in Dayton, Ohio. Roger Troutman, hits by Roger and Zapp, such as More Bounce to the Ounce, and the album Zapp, the many facets of Roger, Zapp 2, made Troutman Sound Labs possible. The studio was finished in '83. The music produced here included the gold-selling album New Zapp 4, You in 1985, and Shirley Murdoch's self-titled Gold album in 1987, and Roger's I Want to Be Your Man, which was #1 on the Billboard's Hot R&B and Hip Hop charts, and #3 on the pop chart in late 1987. So very nice historical monument here in Dayton. Here on Salem Avenue, Dayton View Triangle. Once the location for Troutman Sound Labs. And also the site where Roger from Zapp and Roger was murdered. The spirit of the Troutman family and Zapp definitely live on at this corner.